Good morning. Good morning. I always say it 3 times. Good morning. This is Saturday morning with Dr. Mama Rosie Thompson. Today is June the 8th, and we're going to continue to talk about becoming our whole authentic self. We're going to recap a little bit about emotions and feelings. We talked about that last week, and today we're going to get into being financially mature. And you can see the backdrop behind me said, believe in yourself. Anything is possible, and never give up. Only things that are good for you. Only things that help you get to where you want to be. Don't give up on those, but some things you may have to give up on. Anyway, we're going to go ahead and get started. And today, to recap, we talked last week about emotions, and we know that our emotions, these are reactions. They are stimulants and they are triggers. We talked about having triggers. They are sensations in our bodies. They have a strong influence on our daily life. We make a lot of decisions oftentimes based on our emotions. Feelings are what we experience as a result of those emotions. So we looked at the wheel, and we looked at the wheel. Feelings are influenced by our emotions, but are generated by our mental thoughts. So while the emotions start with this sensation in the body, feelings are generated from what we think about those, how we think about those emotions, how they translate in our mind. Once we understand that the emotions arise from certain situations, such as when we feel triggered, we can begin to take steps to ease those emotions so that they don't control the decisions that we make. Our goal on here is to be fully mature or developed in every area of our life. We allow our principles to guide our decisions, and we are able to progress. Beyond merely, we don't want to merely react to life's options. We want to let our principles guide what we do, and not just to be we don't just want to react to the options that we see in life. Although we recognize that our emotions they are important, we allow our moral and our ethical qualities to be the master of our emotions. Our emotions do not rule us, but our morals and our ethical qualities master our emotions. So we want to get to that point in life. Start to think about things, start to pay attention to things, see how things are working, how they're moving in your life. Then when you make a decision, it should not be an emotional decision, because that can really hurt you. Even though research has shown that our emotions do play a strong influence on our daily life, and that we make decisions based on those emotions, we continue to strive for maturity in every area of our life. And this includes our area of finances. When we talk about finance, we're talking about financial maturity. And it's to understand the importance of making well-informed decisions about how we spend our money, and to become and remain mindful of the long-term consequences of our financial choices. So improving our financial processes begin with understanding our current position and looking ahead to where we want to be. Everything that we talk about and everything that we want to do, it first starts with understanding. We want to understand where we are today, because sometimes we don't even know where we are today. We want to understand where we are right now, and we want to begin to look ahead at where I want to be. And I'm not going to tell you everything that let me say this, for everything that we do, that we have done, and we'll continue to do, is going to be a step-by-step process, and it's unique to the individual. That I said this so many times, and I say it again today. One size does not fit all. I can share with you what I've done. I can share with you how my life is now, and hopefully it can help you to not have to go through everything I went through to get to where I am. But it can help you to bypass some things because you're aware and you have the information needed to step over some of those things that I stepped over. Recognizing areas of improvement can be challenging. It can. Anything we do that's worth doing something for, everything is not going to be easy. But I can say, and trust me when I say, that it's way, way worth it. It's way, way worth it. And it's not impossible. It's not. The process itself of becoming more financially responsible is called money maturity. So we talk about money maturity. Okay. Money maturity, this is a gradual process that happens over time. I am very confident that I can offer this information. Very confident that I can talk about this. I'm a FDIC Smart Money Module presenter. I work many areas in Treasury as an advisor for large corporate clients. I think I told you that, including AT&T. I've been on that side of the spectrum. I've worked in places. I took some finance classes in graduate school. I've experienced homelessness. I lived off public aid, public assistance, where I raised 4 children of my own. After homelessness, I went to the dealership. And since then, I've been able to go to the dealership, see the car I want, this is the car I like, and pay cash for it. I've been able to do that. I had a 30-year mortgage that I was able to pay off in 13 years. Not only have my life been blessed, but I've seen the lives of my children. What we used to do when my kids were little, and even when we were on public aid, when we got our check, we would sit at the kitchen table, the kids and I all together, and we would talk about, I'd say, this is what we have, this is what we got income, these are our bills. We can pay our bills, and I would show them what it meant to have. When we pay our bills, if there was anything what we had left, we would talk about what we should pay. And I remember my middle son was the most outspoken one, and he said one day, we're always paying bills, and I just want to do something fun. So I said to him, I said, well, what do you want to do? And he came up with his plan. He told me what he wanted to do. And I said, well, which bill should we not pay to do what you want to do? We talked about how much it would approximately cost, and we came up with the bill that we shouldn't pay. So we didn't. Next month, when time to pay bills, I reminded him, I said, you remember last month we didn't pay all of this bill, so now we have to catch up and pay this bill. So it gave them the understanding of how to manage their finances as well. And some of them have gone to school. One of my children have a degree in finances and is an accountant today. But I've seen them blessed. I've seen that in the life of my children. From scraping paint, one apartment we had where we had to scrape this green, blue paint out the bathtub before we could even take a bath. I don't think I'll ever forget that. My children are now homeowners. Written laws that have passed. Real laws that have passed. Co-founders of boards and members of organizations. Singers, songwriters. And one project that's coming up, that's getting ready to happen now, one of my children just purchased 5 new retail stores that's going to be opening in August. And I'll tell you about that because I will definitely be there for the grand opening, and maybe I'll go live from the grand opening. But it'll be opening in August. So things have happened in my life and have happened in their lives, and I see that. And a lot of it is God. All of it is really God, because we trust in God and we obey Him. But being a good steward of our finance is God as well. We need to be good stewards of our finance. We don't want to get a $10 bill, $20 bill. We don't even want to have a dollar that we say to ourselves, I know I had $1, and we're looking through our wallet, we're looking through our purse, and we don't know where it went. We don't want to do that. We're praying for our finances, for God to bless our finances, but we don't even know what the finances are that He's given us. So we want to pay attention to those things. I learned at a very young age how to give, how to do the things that I do. For a lot of stuff I learned through finance, but my mom was also, she was a giver, and she was our pastor at one time. And I read a post from one of my sisters in Florida who listens to the live, Diane, and she said we hid poverty very well, and that's what I liked hearing that. My mom was called Mother Teresa of Uptown. There's an article about her. I put it in the book. They call her Mother Teresa of Uptown because she fed the homeless. She did so many things. She was a mentor to so many people. Like Danny Davis was one of the people that she was a mentor to. She used to be the ward of the 46th ward. Helen Schiller. We had a church in her office on Sunday. So it was so many people that my mom was involved with. And she taught us we were given when we were even real little kids. She was not educated, but she was one of the smartest women you would ever meet. One of the smartest women you would ever meet. There was nothing she could not do. We were down south, and she started an organization called the Hospitality Charity Outreach Ministry. And out of our nothing, she gave. And it taught me that too. It just seemed like if we change our mind, and we understand things and change our mindset, a lot of things in our life can change. But to go back, the first thing we have to do is understand how our values and how our values can help us. They help us to set achievable financial goals. Values shape how we're going to prioritize everything we want to do. It shapes how we prioritize our energy, our time, and our money. So value-based, or when we talk about value-based, we're going to talk value-based accounting and planning. This is a method that can help us to spend our money more wisely by aligning our financial values with our financial reality. It involves identifying what's important to us and being mindful of those values when making purchases. We're going to identify what's important to us. What is important to us? This is important to us to save somebody. Is it important to us to have a vacation every year? What's important? And then we're going to prioritize our spending based on that. And this can help us to save more intentionally and spend more with meaning. We want to spend if we want to, but we want to do it with meaning. I have many times questioned purchases. Wonder, why did I even buy that? Our goal is to focus on spending on dollars, focus our goal rather on spending our dollars in the areas of our life that bring us the maximum value and bring us the maximum happiness. And so we want to spend less in the areas of our lives that don't add value to our lives. Where we really don't want to do anything that doesn't add value, things that don't add value. But we want to make sure when we're spending that what we're buying adds value to us. It's something that we really want to do. I don't use the word budgeting because I don't budget. I'm not good at it. I don't like it. I don't like, and it's not budgeting. What I'm talking about is not budgeting because it's not some rigid approach, that follows some arbitrary rule. It's not like that, arbitrary rule. Our personal finances are exactly what that is. Our personal finances are personal. And it's not about assigning rules and spending habits that are the same for everyone in every situation. It's not that. One of the common issues with budgeting is trying to account for every dollar. Most budgets fail because people are trying to categorize every dollar where every dollar goes, which leaves no room for error. Our plan, when we're going to talk about that. We do want to be mindful of where our money is going, but sometimes it's going to be an error there. But you want to leave room for that. Then once something come up that's not in their budget, it breaks their whole plan, and most people just give up on budgeting. As we talk about financial planning, family and peer pressure, that's going to be a thing that we have to think about. The people closest to us, such as our family, our friends, can have considerable influence over our financial behavior. You may they can have a considerable influence on our financial behavior. So their attitude towards spending, saving, and investment can actually shape our belief and our habits. You heard the song "Keeping Up with the Joneses." Sometimes we don't call it that, but they can influence us, and this can make financial planning difficult, especially for couples. It can be harder when you got two different people from two different backgrounds, from two different environments, trying to do it together. I wrote an example down about. I said Tina and Dave. I picked some people, Tina and Dave, and they had got this tax refund. They just got their tax refund. And Tina's background, she put herself through college while she was working 30 hours a week. She put her own self through college. She still got some outstanding student loans that she needs to pay. Her mom is struggling. Her mom needs to move. So this is where her mind is. Her mama needs to move. She got these student loans. She has worked for everything that she got. So she wants to take the money. She wants to take some of their tax money, and she wants to give her mom most of it so that her mom can have a down payment to get her a new apartment. And she wants to take the rest of the tax money to help pay down some of her student loans. Her husband Dave is saying, her partner Dave is saying, now Dave parents, think about Tina and her life, what it was like. Dave's parents helped him with college expenses, with money that they had saved for him over the years. He graduated with very few loans, and he paid them off years before he even met Tina. He wants to put their refund in savings for his kids to go to college. He wants to start a savings account to set it up for his kids when they get ready to go to college. And he wants to take the rest of the money and go on a family vacation. Think about how the different upbringing and the environments are shaping the decisions that they want to make. Think about the values that's influencing each one of them. If each one of them, think about it, if Dave or Tina or both of them came to you for the advice, what would you tell them? Think about what you would say to them. And then think about any of your own values influencing how you view their situation and how you give advice to them. It's really sometimes hard to give unbiased advice to people because your life affects what you think and what you feel. So sometimes that can be really, really hard. let me stop here and say to anybody coming on today, I really appreciate you all for coming on. I appreciate you for taking the time out of your day to come on and be online with me. For those who are on right now, good morning, Minister Sierra, Minister Swoop. I love you all, Sister Pooh. You know I love you. Still praying for you. Amen. Thank you so much for joining. I just want to say thank you so much. And for any that will come on later, I really, really appreciate you. I will be posting this to YouTube after it's over here on this live. Thank you so much. There's always empowerment through awareness and action. We are empowered when we understand the role of social influences. Know that it's key to making informed decisions and financial choices. Our social surrounding is going to influence us unless we're mindful. We want to, by recognizing these sources of our influence and setting clear boundaries, you know how important boundaries are, and prioritizing our financial goals, we can take control of our financial future and make decisions that align with our values and our aspirations. External influences impact our financial choices. See, social influence oftentimes guide our choices without us even realizing it, and that's the sad part. Sometimes we'll even do it and not even pay attention that we've done it. Social influence, they're kind of like silent architects in our financial decisions, quietly guiding our choices and shaping our financial future. From the opinion of our peers to the allurement of advertising, these external factors often hold sway over our money matters. And we have decided that we are not going to allow anything or anyone take control of the individuality that God gave us. While social influence can encourage, they can sometimes encourage responsible financial behavior as well as provide support network. They can offer some great advice, but they can also lead to overspending, to unhealthy financial habits, and the neglect of our financial goals. So we have to be mindful. Pay attention. We're going to go a little bit more into that a little bit later. Media and advertisements, both overt and subtle, can create desires for products and lifestyle that may not align with our goals. We look on TV, oh, that's so pretty, and we go and buy it. Or we see that advertisement, that's so pretty. I've noticed lately, and I don't know how lately, but I've noticed lately, on Facebook, people just like, I thought they look like ordinary people who are posting it on their Facebook page, and they're advertising all these different products and stuff. And they're everybody talking about this weight loss, 777, this cleanse. So people are buying it because they're seeing it. Sometimes, even though it may not be something that you were thinking of doing or something that you had in your plan, looking at this can influence us. And it's human nature to want what other people have. That's just what it is. But know that advertisers spend big money to influence how we spend our money. I've heard people say things like, well, it was on sale. But I think this way. If it was $100 and now it's $50, I didn't save $50. I just spent $50. And spending my $50 wasn't in my plan, that wasn't a saving. See, we look at it, if it's something I need, something I really, really want, then if I go and buy it at 50% off, it's a good thing. But if it's just because I see it and it's 50% off and it's a wonderful product, that's not necessarily a good thing to do, especially if it's not aligning with your financial planning. Recognize these tactics that are used by advertisers. Notice when you're being tempted. Control your environment. We want to be aware also of impulse purchases. They make it real hard to achieve our goal. We go somewhere for one thing and we end up buying something else. Be aware of those impulse purchases. We're going to talk about a little bit more about controlling our environment. That'll come up on another slide. But we want to be aware. Here's one thing we can do. When we think about an item that we want to buy, think about it in hourly wages. Think about it in your income, from your income standpoint. So if you get an item and you look at the cost of that item, divide it by how much you make an hour, it would tell you how many hours you need to work to buy this item. So the cost of the item divided by how much money you make per hour will tell you how many hours you need to work to buy it. So let's say the pedicure, manicure, I looked those up. The regular pedicure, manicure averages about $54 in Chicago. And let's say you make $18 an hour. Minimum wage was $16.20, but you make $18 an hour. You need to work 3 hours to get a pedicure and a manicure. Now you have to decide. The cost of a gel or no chip pedicure, manicure is about $95. So you divide that by $18. You have to work over 5 hours to get a pedicure and manicure. And we're not even including the cost it takes to get to the place wherever you're going to get it at. If you have to pay for the parking, excuse me, and the opportunity cost. Don't forget, there's an opportunity cost for almost everything we do. What did you give up, and what did you give up? The cost of what you gave up that you could have been doing to go and get this pedicure, manicure. So it could actually end up being more than 5 hours. It could be 6 hours. It takes, just say, round it off. So it's 5.27 hours to get the manicure, manicure, pedicure. Think about the opportunity cost. Think about the transportation. Think about the gas. It could be about 6 hours of your day, almost a whole day's work, just to get a pedicure, manicure. Then you have to decide, is this something I really want? Is this something I really want? Is this something I really need? If so, you have every right. That's what I say. One size does not fit all. You have a right to your life, your way. We are, not today, because we're going to get, when we go through this, I'm going to tell you what, I'm going to give you some information on what to do next. Then once we come back, I won't be on live next week, but the following week, we're going to come back. And hopefully you have at least start to write down some things, start to look at some things so we're ready for the next phase. But anyway, we want to stay focused. We have to use strategies and stay focused on our goals. When we have goals, we want to block those unproductive messages. We want to resist impulse spending. We have to, every goal that you have in life. I know we are talking about financial, Rosie. Stay on finance. When it's our financial goals, we have to use strategies. How are we going to do it? Recognize tactics used to influence how you spend money. Recognize that. Do you go to the store for one thing and end up buying something else? Do you go to one store and end up going to another? Advertisers and influencers are purposely trying to get you to spend more money than you had already planned. They may give you a sense of false urgency and make it very easy to spend money. Be mindful. I go to the store and they always want to know if I want to save some money on an item by getting a credit card. Be mindful. Recognize these tactics so that you know how you may be influenced. Notice when and where you're tempted to start paying attention to when and where you feel like making an impulse purchase. So pay attention to all of that. We talk about all of that. You might even try jotting down notes for a week. You could use paper in the app on your phone. I use my notes on my phone. That's a big thing because tracking has always been important. When we know, sometimes we need to see it on paper, see what we're doing, actually see it, and it helps us to know what we're doing. It helps us to be aware of the decisions that we're making. Once you spend some time noticing, you can see what's triggering you. You can start to say, okay, I always notice that when I go to this store or when I'm with this person, I always spend more. Look and see if that's a trigger. What trigger that is activated, and then you can start to work on that. Look for these and look to identify any patterns that may be coming up. Set yourself up for success by controlling your environment. It helps to avoid temptation altogether when you can. Do some people you follow on social media tempt you to spend money, or that will derail your goal? If so, you may have to stop following them. They got a lot of things about makeup, and I had a conversation with a very special young lady in my life, and she was telling me, we were talking about skincare, and I was telling her, my granddaughter bought me the skincare product, and she was saying, what do you use? And I was telling her about the skincare product, and she said, maybe I should get some of that. And I said, well, we were talking about another one, CeraVe, that's really good. And she sent me a photo to show me all the stuff we're talking about. She had it in her medicine cabinet, but she hadn't been using it. She said, so I guess I just should start using it. Unsubscribe from these mailing lists that create urgency by sending you lots of detail, like coupon. You can shop for deals when you're actually ready to buy something. If it's one thing I say, if it's not on my list, it doesn't exist. Every now and then it may exist, but it cuts it down from a lot of things existed on that's not on my list. I keep a list. Take a list. Write down what you're buying. Write down what you need. Write down what you want to do. And a big thing for me is to build a pause. Build a pause. You may be tempted to spend money on something you really don't need right now. Force yourself to pause so that you can be sure it's not just an impulse. Build that pause in your life. Is this something I really want? And is it really worth it? I try now. I'm not always do it, but I try now to only buy items that I really like. I had a deep freezer. Single person living alone with a deep freezer in the basement. and a big old refrigerator upstairs, and I had stuff in both. My refrigerator now maybe had 2 or 3 packs of meat in it. Because I found that when I had all of that stuff in my freezer, what I wanted to eat was never in the freezer. So I stopped buying all of that stuff. And I'm not like in the country somewhere way away from the store. The stores are right up the street. You can go to the store. So that kind of stuff for me is what I had to do. If you add an item to your online shopping cart, shut down your browser before you actually purchase it. Don't just add and start buying. Put it in your cart. Go back and look at it later to see if you still want to buy it. Okay. If you're tempted to buy something you really don't need in the store, build a pause. Put it in your cart. Don't put it in your cart, brother. Go tell yourself that you're going to go back and get it after you get through shopping. If you see something that's not on your list and you think about I may want this, don't put it in your cart. Write it on your note. If you're taking a list, write it on your list and then put it at the end. I'll go back and get this. But it was a lot of times for me, I have got the rest of my items and I changed my mind about that one item. Another thing that sometimes is not a good thing to save your payment information on online retailers. Well, that can happen. That's good for scam and fraud, but it's also good because sometimes by the time you have to go and get your card and input your information, it gives you enough time to think about it and to resist that impulse. Do I really love or want this item? Do I need it? That type of stuff. Is this in my spending plan? If it isn't, can I plan for this later? It doesn't mean that you can't have the things that you want, but you can create another spending goal, a saving goal to get that certain item. That's what I talked about a little bit when I said about vacation, where the pinch of the vacation should not affect us. If I decide that I want to go on vacation and I decide where I want to go, I can create a plan to go there. If I spend this money now, will it affect my ability to reach my goals? My mom used to tell her, well, baby, if you got it in the bank, you can always spend it. But once you spend it, you don't have it. She used to say those little things like that meant so much and helped us in a lot of ways. Is there a way I'd rather spend this money? I'm at the store, I'm thinking about buying something. Is there something else I'd rather have? Think about those things. So when we come up to the next 2 weeks, like I said, I won't be online this week coming up. This Saturday. I'll be at my church early because we're having a prayer breakfast at Mama Raya Church on 500 Hannah, Forest Park, Illinois. So if you want to come, there are some tickets, and it starts at 10 a.m. Anyway, track your income. So while we'll wait, I have a book, a thick book, really thick book, and everything that I've done since, I think this book is 2012, the one I'm writing in now. But every bill I pay, it's in there. My income is in there. I know exactly what I've done. It's important that I remember back in the day, they used to give us these registers in the back of our checkbook. That was one of the greatest things there is. Because sometimes we go and buy stuff, we're not writing it down. We don't actually keep up with what we're doing. We want to manage what we're doing. We want to manage it and know what we're doing. So if you can, think about this. It can be you don't have to go buy anything, a notebook, whatever you got at home. Write your income. Write it in your income. Looking for all of your income. Your income, that one-time income, write it down, your income. And in another column, a spreadsheet, think about what you spend money on. Your regular bills, your credit card bills, your other bills, whatever you're paying. Your giving, your tithing, whatever you're doing. Your entertainment. Do not leave out what you like. If you go to work every day, and I know that for another ministry that I help, that we talked to with these financial classes, the pastor was saying he goes to Starbucks, and we had a person that like Pepsi, and we were able to talk about Pepsi because the person would drink Pepsi every day, and they was paying $2 or something for one bottle when they could have gone to the store and bought an 8-pack of bottles. They still could have the same bottles, but it was cheaper. And she said that the reason that she didn't buy the 8-pack because she didn't really want to drink pop every day, but she was still drinking the pop every day. Now, one thing for me, I don't know how it'll work for you, but I always want that stuff I don't have. Now, I got pop. I don't drink pop. Maybe I'll say I drink pop once a month, maybe. Sometime less than that. But when I got it in the refrigerator, I have no desire for it. When I don't have it, that's what I crave. And I think that's one of my triggers from when I was a kid and not having things. So now I want the things I don't have. So I have to pay attention to those triggers and make sure that I'm, managing those triggers. So you want to track that. You want to write down your obligations. You want to write down what your income is. You want to compare the two. So if you're doing 2 columns, you got your income. This is how much I get in a month. This is approximately what my bills are. Not just bills. You also want to look at what you do. Entertainment, my gas money. I like to go out. I do this. Write it down. You want to write it down. So when we come back in 2 weeks, I'll be able to tell you the next steps to that. Okay? Because you should be able to live your life the way you want. And we can work through it. We can, like I said, it's not always easy, but we can do it. Okay, so that's all I'm asking you to do next week. I'm saying to remember to understand your values, that your values can help you set your goals, your financial planning goals. External influences. Think about those external influences, especially if you're married. If you got somebody else in your house that's going to be your incomes are together, that you're making decisions together, you're not going to be able to make it by yourself, and there's a lot of things involved. It may not be that they just don't want to work with you. It may be that that's not the environment that they are accustomed to. And so you guys need to work that through. You need to work that out. But when you're single and by yourself, and you can better look at your thing, decide, oh, these are my values. This is where I'm trying to go. Pay attention to yourself. We still have work, even though we're single. We still have work to do too before we can actually get to where we want to be. So then start your spending journal. So start to write it down. Think about the money that you got coming in, the money that you're spending, and then when I come back in 2 weeks, then we'll come back and talk about it. We'll come back and let me see. Thank you, Emily. Thank you for joining this morning. Thank you so much. But yeah, and I said in 2 weeks we'll come back and we'll talk about your next step. But write it down. Try to start that notebook, whatever it is, to write down these bills I paid this month. I went about this. Think about it. I like hot potato chips. It doesn't matter. I'm going to put this amount in for my snacks. I'm going to put this amount in to say I average about this amount. It doesn't have to be exact. It has to be room for error. And there has to be room for spontaneous things that you want to do. Sometimes you may want an ice cream bar. You don't want to not say, I can't have that ice cream bar. We can. It's not easy all the time, but it is possible. I'm your example. I'm your witness. It is possible. I want to thank you all for coming today. This is all I have for today. We'll start next week because I don't think we can go any further until you've had some time to really think about your debits and credit, what's on your what money you're coming in, what money you're spending. I don't think it'll be good to go any further, but we're going to talk about that next time when we come back in 2 weeks. Our affirmations are today: I honor myself by being authentic. We honor ourselves rather by being authentic. We are actually and exactly who and what we claim to be. We walk in maturity in every aspect of our life. We're continually learning. We're continually growing. We're continually being getting to be our whole authentic self. We're getting where we're getting to the place that we want to be. We walk in self-regulation. We regulate ourselves. We regulate our mind. We regulate our thinking. Our thinking does not control us. Our emotions will not control us. We will master those things. We are emotionally whole. And we are safe places for ourselves. It doesn't matter what anybody else say. We are safe places for ourselves. That's today's presentation. That's today's affirmation. I want to say thank you again for coming. I really, really appreciate each and every one of you. Hi, Regina. Thank you for joining. Thank you for joining. Thank you, everyone, for joining. I will be posting this on our YouTube. And it'll be out here. It stays out here on Facebook. You all have a wonderful day, and I will talk to you in 2 weeks at 8 a.m. But I will be back on Friday morning at 6 a.m. to bring the word. But for this one, I'll be back on 2 weeks. So have a blessed day. Thank you. Goodbye.